questions, make comments. And so before we begin, let me just, as Professor Joel said, I am an English language fellow who is here for 10 months, and I arrived in February. I'm going to be here until December, and my assignment is, this is under the sponsorship of the U.S. Embassy, the State Department of the U.S., and I'm here to assist. My primary focus is to assist you all at the University of Panama in the English department. So I work very closely with Professor Joel. We're doing a lot of fun and exciting projects, and this is one of them. It's to support you, teachers and staff and professors, in the work that you do every day. And Professor Joel invited me to present on a subject that I really like, which is feedback. And as he said, I've had a lot of experience in this field because, well, number one, my master's is in teaching English as a second language, but I also, half of my career worked as an administrator. And so I've had to give feedback in many different situations, in preschool through college, and with teachers and coworkers, and with a variety in a variety of different situations in the environment of preschool, high school, college, university, and special education. So I think I've crossed every single field and every single age. So I'm excited to share a little bit of my experience as we go through this workshop for you. So feel free to sit back and enjoy and relax, and also write down notes for questions or comments as we go through. The first thing, hold on a sec, I just want to say SBI. It's a workshop on the SBI model, which I will talk about in a minute, and it stands for Situation, Behavior, and Impact. All right, Joel, thank you. We'll see more about that in a minute. So the objectives for today's workshop are that we want to know why feedback matters. We also want to know what the misconceptions or all the myths are about feedback. What are the characteristics of feedback? How do you give feedback, and how do you deliver it as well as receive it? And then we also want to create a feedback mindset, and also have a checklist that shows us how to do our work, our important work, by having a checklist, an inventory of what it takes to give effective feedback. And we'll even have a little practice session, and of course a chance to have questions and answers and a discussion. Thank you, Joel. Next. So why does feedback matter? It matters in all fields because it promotes personal and professional development. It also enhances your performance and all the things that you do at work, at school, every single day. It encourages continuous learning and self-improvement, and it also builds trust among the parties with other relationships. It makes your contact stronger. Next. And depending on where you live or grew up, or what country you come from, or what environment you grew up in, we have misconceptions about feedback. And I'm going to talk about some of those myths. The first one is feedback is always negative. Well, that's wrong. The truth is that effective feedback is a good thing. It highlights not only where you need to improve, but also discusses your strengths. It's good to know what you do well. And so that's a myth. Another myth that we have, or misconception, is that people don't want feedback. Well, that's wrong as well. The truth is that most people want feedback. They want to grow, they want to improve and progress, but it's when it's delivered well is when it's important. Then another myth is that feedback must be formal. but that's wrong as well. The truth is that informal is even better when you use it every day in your everyday life, and it can be very impactful, as well as establishing trust between the parties. And then another myth is that one-time feedback is enough, but that's wrong again. The truth is that we need ongoing feedback. People need to let us know if we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, or if it's good, or where we need to improve, because that's the way you sustain improvement and progress and get better at what you need to do. So those are some of our misconceptions, and every culture looks at feedback differently. In the States, the United States, we welcome feedback. We need to know how we're doing on our job. We get evaluated all the time. We use checklists, and the feedback is very direct. In other countries, it might be very soft, or like I lived in Japan for a year. It's rare to hear feedback. It's not part of the culture. And maybe here also, or in Latin countries, it might be a little bit different. Some people try to avoid feedback, and we just are affected by where we grow up and how comfortable we feel with feedback. So let's take a closer look now at the next slide and see the characteristics of effective feedback. Not just any kind of feedback, but making it effective. That means that you need to be specific. That means focus on the particular behavior or the outcomes of what you're looking at, what you're observing, what you're assessing, what you're evaluating, what you're testing. So it has to be specific. And then it should really be timely, which means deliver the feedback close to the event of the performance. So for you as professors, it shouldn't be just at the end of the semester or by the end of the school year. It needs to be ongoing so that the students need to know how they're doing. And it should be constructive, which means helping the students improve, telling them what they need to do to improve. And it also needs to be balanced, which means not just talk about all the areas to improve or to grow in, but also highlighting the students' strengths so that they can build on them. And finally, the feedback needs to be actionable, where you can offer clear guidance and support for them to improve or progress forward. So we'll continue, but I know that some of you, this is very elementary and common sense for you, but the thing that we want to talk about here is how to deliver the feedback effectively. So let's see how that works. Next slide. Well, I'm going to go into a particular model called the SBI model for feedback. This is a model created by Creative Leadership, the Center for Creative Leadership, in the 1990s, and it was adopted to give employees a framework to get effective feedback by a facilitator or a boss or a supervisor. And it's used in many different environments, not only in business, but education and many other environments. So let's take a look at what each one of these stands for. S is for situation, and that is when we want to describe the situation, the specific context that the feedback is given. So in your case, either in the classroom or maybe through, at work that the student has done at home, but this is in an educational setting. And then we also look at the behavior. We want to look at the details of what the behavior of the participant is by their actions, by things that we observe them doing. And we need to just make it simple, not use judgment regarding the behavior. And finally, the impact. We want to explain the effects of the behavior on the organization or on the rest of the class in this case, or on the English department. And it needs to show how it impacts what we do every single day. The good, the bad, and the ugly, everything. But there are ways to do it in an effective, meaningful way. Let's look at how to do that. Next. And Joelle, feel free to jump in when you want to add something or ask or comment, or if I forget anything. Okay, Let's see what the strategies for giving feedback are. Well, we're going to use the SBI model, situation, behavior, impact. This is only one of many models. It's just a very simple one that has been around for years. And we want to start with the positive, the things that our students do well before we move into the areas that they need to improve in. And also, we want to focus on their behavior, not on the mistakes, not on their personality. We want to make sure we give them the respect that they need and deserve, and to do it with dignity, and focus on the behavior. And then also we want to do it with open-ended questions and invite them to reflect and to answer our questions and make them feel comfortable about what you're telling them in your feedback. And finally, as I said earlier, we want to be empathetic and respectful. Everyone should be treated with respect and patience and dignity that they deserve. Next slide. Now, the way we deliver it effectively is we have to keep in mind to choose the right setting. That means, are we going to do, in what kind of environment? It should be private, it should be respectful. And so in your case, it shouldn't be in front of the rest of the class. If you have something to say to a student about improving a behavior, it should really be in private, because that would be more respectful and not humiliating. That would be humiliating for some people, or it would be disrespectful if we did it in front of other people. We want to also maintain open body language and tone. So even though it's something that may have angered you or made you feel surprised, the tone of your voice should be calm and normal and nothing out of the ordinary, so that you don't sound judgmental. And your body language should say the same thing, and not, crossing your arms um, or making angry faces. You should always also use the I statements. So things like, oh, I noticed you did XYZ, or I heard this, I saw this in your essay, so that it's not directed exactly at you did this, you did that, not pointing fingers, right? The next thing is allow time for discussion and clarification. So some teachers, I know for me in my experience, told me exactly what I did wrong or where I have to improve, but they didn't care what I thought. You need to let the student come back and say what they think about it, or to give them a chance to ask for clarification and to discuss what it is, so that it's clear for them as to what you want them to do. And then we want to follow up with support and progress. So not just tell them what they did wrong or how to improve, but also follow up on that to make sure that you haven't just left them with your feedback. So that needs to be ongoing, the support and the follow-up. Let's look at the next slide. Also, we need to know how to receive feedback gracefully, not just give it. We also need to stay open and listen to what, let's say, our supervisor is saying, or a co-professor is saying to us, or the student is telling us. We have to stay open and without interrupting. And then we need to not be defensive by saying, no, I didn't do that. What do you mean? So we seek to understand what it is that they're saying by listening carefully. And we ask for clarifying questions if you need to. Did you mean to say that you didn't like this part of the essay? Or so those kinds of questions. And then reflect and take action on the feedback. So you think back about what was said to you and you act on it to the best of your ability, and then continually ask questions if you need clarification, so that you get it the way that you need to for the final product, for the outcome. Okay, let's continue to the next slide, where we're going to have fun after this one. How do we cultivate a feedback culture? That means, why do we even want one? Well, we want to develop a feedback culture where it's comfortable to receive it and to give it. we want to model it by giving it and receiving it regularly as a leader in your classroom or as the leader of a department or the leader of whatever. If you're leading the class, so it's as the leader of your students, your class, you need to be able to give them feedback and receive feedback from them and create a growth mindset that way. Just normalize that kind of a thing about giving feedback and receiving feedback. It's not a criticism. That's the myth, remember? Feedback is not criticism. It should be in everyday conversations. It's we should encourage peers to give feedback to each other, and we should also give it among ourselves as professors, right? Tell me what you thought about that new activity I designed for conversation. Get feedback from your own peers. So you model that for your students as well. They can give each other feedback and provide training and support for effective feedback practices. So you should even give training on how to give feedback just like you're getting now. It's okay to give feedback. It's a good thing. It's healthy for us. Okay, let's move forward. Next slide. And so now let's do, Joelle, if you're available, we'll have another voice come in so it's not so boring. I'm going to have you be the teacher, Joelle. You're going to give me rude feedback, not good, not effective, and I'm going to be the poor student. Okay, let's see how this goes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I'm going to share with you my feedback based on your writing, okay?
Great.
Sarah, your writing is the worst I have ever seen. It is just rubbish. I can't read anymore. It's so bad. You will never be a good writer.
Oh my goodness, you know what I'm thinking in my head? As the student, I feel really bad about myself and I'm going to drop this class. I think to myself, this is too hard for me. I'm never going to be able to write. I'm never going to take another writing class again. That's how the student might feel if the feedback is delivered this way. That's an example of rude feedback, and I'm sure that none of you does this, right? Let's look at the next example. Now we're going to look at a polite feedback, Professor Joel. Go ahead.
Hello, Sarah.
Hi.
I really like how you organize your script. Maybe you could add some transitions to help connect the different parts of the neighborhood.
Oh boy, doesn't that sound much better, guys? I'm thinking to myself, oh wow, that is a really great idea. I'll try that and I feel good. I feel really good about myself now. I'm going to do what the teacher suggested. I like this class. See, you're going to have a much different reaction from students if we give them polite and effective feedback. Let's see how that works now. I'm going to give you some ideas on how to present polite feedback without using you. We usually, to give effective feedback, we want to use I statements like, Joelle, I really like the way you wrote that introductory paragraph. Maybe you could modify that thesis statement by including a little bit more about nutrition. Um, I think you should change that first paragraph to whatever. I'm just giving you examples. Think about ending your composition with referring back to something you stated in your introductory paragraph. A better word might be, so you're giving soft statements and polite feedback. Another one is, I think this is a grammar error. Maybe we could, and then remember to XYZ, whatever it is that you want to give feedback. This is how it softens it and it makes it more polite and not so judgmental. Let's go on. Here's the fun part where we're going to practice. We have a scenario. Um, we have a scenario here where we're going to practice, and then I see people are getting into it and and we're going to give you a chance to talk. Um, But let's let Joel and I do this little scenario. And he told me that some students do this. And here's the scenario that we decided to share with you. Student turns in an assignment without considering the teacher's expectations, and the product was not at an acceptable level for this class. So maybe that sounds like a familiar scenario to you in your class. And let's see how we can successfully provide feedback. So Professor Joel, I think I'm going to let you be the professor again, and I will be the student. But before we start, let's give our audience a checklist. You're going to look at this checklist or inventory on how to reflect on our little role play here. Remember what we talked about with the SBI model, where we have a situation, behavior, and impact. And as we do our little role play, see if we are able to meet all of these objectives on the checklist. So we set up our scenario, Joelle, and I'm in your class. I think I'm taking a writing class with you. Yeah, ESL writing. And we're just about to finish class, and it's time to go to our next class. So, hey, Joelle, Professor Joelle, I'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, Sarah, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm okay. I got to run to
Great.
my next class.
Could you stay for a few minutes to talk a little bit about, your paper?
Oh, sure. I hope it
Okay.
doesn't take too long.
Okay. No, it's very short. Let's wait when the classroom is empty, and then we can discuss.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So,
Should we close the door?
that's fine. We can keep it open. That's fine.
Okay.
There is no problem. I wanted to thank you for being here. I really appreciate your participation in class. You are very punctual, and I think that you are on time on all the assignments that we have. I have request you to do.
Yeah.
But this time, I would like to talk or discuss or clarify something that I observed in the last paper that you turned in,
Okay.
I realized that there is, a high percentage use of, AI in the paper. And I would like to see more about your point of view, about, what you think, more your opinion, like more like the Sarah that I know that likes to express her ideas.
Oh, yeah. I do use AI a lot. I like Chat GPT, and I was just using it to help me, write that persuasive essay that you wanted us to turn in. And I thought it was, I mean, yeah, I used a lot of the AI material. That's
Okay.
true.
Okay. So I think the AI is a good resource, and I invite you to, use it as a tutor of a resource. But I would like to see more about your point of view, your own reflection, the way that you think about this topic. Do you think that that's possible for the next paper?
So Professor, do you say I can still use the AI? I can still use Chat GPT?
It's a good resource, right? But I would like to see or observe your own point of view.
Okay, okay, but you know what? I'm so busy. I have so many classes. I'm gonna need some time.
Do you need extra time to do the paper again?
Yes, I'll need at least until the end of this week
Okay, fantastic. I'm very happy to give you more time, but I would like to see more, your point of view and your own reflection.
in my own words.
Yes.
Okay, I got it. Okay,
Thank you.
Professor.
Thank you, Sarah.
Oh, you're
And thank
welcome.
you.
We'll see you next class.
See you next class.
Okay, bye, Prof.
Bye-bye.
All right. So now, Professor Joel, do you want to ask our audience if how we did? Let's see. Some people have written some things in there. So we gave you this checklist for you all to take a look and see whether we did, well, we followed it. Did we set up a private and respect? You want to do thumbs up, thumbs down, Joel?
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. So I'll ask, did we set up a private and respectful environment? I, we sat in the classroom and the students weren't there. So
You
Joel,
can
what is,
send reactions, right?
okay,
If we did that or if that happened.
okay. Very good. Did we maintain, in this case, you didn't see our body language, but did we maintain a even, easy tone with our voices? We weren't angry or upset. Did we did we use did Professor Joel use I statements instead of, hey Sarah, you're a plagiarist. You were a cheater. You didn't say anything mean, Joel. You were very nice to me. Okay. And then did Professor Joel, I can't really see if they're reacting, but I'm just going to go through the list, okay? Did he allow time for discussion and clarification?
Please send us reactions if that happened, like thumbs up or something.
Okay. And did we follow, is he gonna, he said he would follow up to support the progress. So he said that, and hopefully he will by the end. And even the follow-up, Joel, if you look at my essay again at the end of the week, that won't be the end of it. We need to continue to give feedback. It's not the end of it. And then, did he start with positive comments before suggestions? Remember, he told me that I turned it on time, I attend school, so he gave me some nice compliments. Did he focus on my behavior instead of, yeah, punctual, good, instead of my personality? It was more the behavior, right? Rather than, you're about any of my personal characteristics. And then ask open-ended questions. Did he ask that of me and invite my reflection? He was very open with me. He allowed me to ask questions and give a response, and he didn't put me down, that's correct. And then he showed empathy and respect. Yeah, he said that I could use ChatGPT, and he respected the fact that I used an additional tool as a resource, but he said what was wrong with it. He didn't come out and say maybe I plagiarized, but that was the idea. Okay, great job, you guys. And also, Professor Joel, thank you very much. That was fun. Let's see what we've got next. Does anyone have any? Let me see. I think we might have one more before we open it up. Let's go to the next. This is a good reflective inventory for you, a checklist. Yeah, very diplomatic with his comments. Thank you. And ChatGPT should be used as a resource, right? Not to write your whole paper. And then he highlighted positive aspects of the student. That was good. And he did not put me down ever. And he told me I was punctual and he appreciated the paper being on time. Okay. Let's go to the next slide, Profe. Let's see the next one. Okay, this is the time we're going to open it for discussion and questions. I also included a resource for you, just a short, less than 5 minute YouTube video on the SBI model, which is very simple and easy to use. And Rosa Elena has a question. Could we use this type of feedback when we have meetings with the students' parents? Joelle, you want to take that one because you know your situation. Of course, yeah. Is Rosa Elena part of the staff at the English department? You want to put your microphone on, Rosa Elena?
It's I have a question. Could we use this type of feedback when we have meetings with the students? Okay, this is when you have like this is high school, right? This is for high school's teacher, maybe. And you invite the students to have this conversation with the parents, right? Maybe with the person that is responsible. Of course, because the idea is to have a positive conversation where the students will, keep the motivation to, continue working and to have that kind of, engagement in working. And so it's not like judging the students. We want to support the students to do something better next time. So yeah, I think this is a good way. And of course, it will help parents to to apply that at home, right? Because sometimes they have this kind of difficult, conversation with their, kids, or maybe with somebody at home that after the situation, instead of finding a potential solution, what they continue is with a emotional, challenge that is difficult for them to address at the end. So I think this is very useful.
I agree with you, Professor Joel. Yeah, absolutely. It's a great model even to use with practice it on your friends or coworkers, and absolutely. Let me see. There's another question. How to manage a colleague's misconception about feedback. Some suggestions, please. Okay. Yarinet, it would really help to know which one. It doesn't matter, but I know that this is probably related to either culture or upbringing when we have these misconceptions. Um, and so it's a good thing to open up and use this model on your colleague. Maybe even share this PowerPoint, which we will share with you all. Look at how things are done in different educational environments. Look at how other teachers give feedback nowadays. We have a lot of research on how this can motivate students by giving them a good, helping them feel good about their work, and that helps to foster motivation. So that would be a nice opening to even share about the model you just learned about today and say, hey, look, whoever this is, Maria or whoever, I just saw this great workshop on SBI. Let me share it with you and talk about it. Did you want to ask anything else, Yarinet? I hope that that helped. It would help to know which misconception, but if they have one misconception, they probably have several about giving feedback. Maybe they think that they are, it would help to know if they think that they are uh, superior to the students. Maybe that's why they feel the way they do about. So I would need to know a little bit more to answer you more directly. But I hope that that helped if you don't want to put your microphone on. And Aldrich says, I also think that this model can be effectively adapted for meetings, exactly, with high school students' parents. It's a simple and respectful framework that helps you communicate observations objectively, avoiding blame or emotion-laden language. Excellent, Aldrich. Very nice. And Yarinet, thank you, thank you. So I hope I answered your question, Yarinet. It looks like I did. Let's see if there are any other questions. I would love to have you open your mic if you want to have it orally. It's an informal workshop to help you. I want this to, I want to add, I think this might be helpful. I think I mentioned it already about our social upbringing or the environment as how it affects us as far as feedback. So we in the United States feel a lot more comfortable than most cultures with feedback because we have it all the time. We get evaluated constantly. And we get to evaluate constantly. We're asked to evaluate our restaurants. We're asked to evaluate our television shows, or our movies, or our menus, or the way an application is, or the delivery, all of our conferences. We ask for your evaluations. We're very much used to it. So it doesn't seem like an unnatural process, but it may in some societies seem like that. Um, but the bad thing about not giving feedback regularly and directly is that what happens is you pretend that everything is okay, or you're afraid to share the feedback. And so silence means acknowledgement and validation. Silence is just as deadly because it means that everything is okay. You don't want to address it because you're afraid. And so that's what happens with what we call in the States social promotion. We keep moving the students up from one grade to the next because we don't want to deal with the parents or we don't want to deal with a behavior problem. And so we keep promoting them from one grade to another, and then they end up graduating without being able to read and write. And so that's what we call social promotion. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. It's a disservice to our students. We want to be able to serve them and give them excellent, effective feedback so that they can be the best that they can be and reach their maximum capacity. And so the same with coworkers and supervisors at work. This is a great model for directors and bosses. And so hold on to it. It will make it will be a lot more diplomatic for you, and you'll see positive results and a lot more motivation. So I would love to open it up for comments. Let me show you the next. This is question and discussion time. It's your time. I want to meet your needs. I am at your service. That's why I'm here. So let's go to the next slide because I think that will be the aha moments.
There is
What
one
I,
more question here,
oh, excuse me, I
Sarah.
didn't see that. Go ahead.
It says you mentioned that we must focus on behavior, not personality. Isn't good sometimes to mention about the student's attitude toward the class, even if it is difficult for him or her to do well in class? Could you explain more that, please? Example, being respectful.
Right, right. Well, we have to find what the reason is about their attitude in order to help them. Having that private moment with them to find out what it is that they don't like about the class or that is a problem in the class, and taking some ownership as to why they have this negative attitude. Maybe they don't like someone they're sitting next to, maybe they don't like the way something is in the classroom, maybe they have a terrible situation at home, maybe they are hungry all the time and there isn't food on the table at home. We don't know what the reasons are. So it would be very effective to find out what the reason is, what is the source of the problem. First, identify why they may have this attitude. It's not real because we don't do it to make people upset on purpose. I mean, the student isn't. There's something that is creating this behavior. So in psychology, you need to find out what is the source of this behavior. Why is the student behaving this way? And that might be a conversation with the parents too. I don't know what grade you're teaching, but it would be nice to find out what the source of this behavior could be, of this terrible attitude. And so it really isn't the student the student's behavior is caused by something. So it behooves you to find out what the source of the behavior is. And then you can handle it better. If it is because the student is hungry every day, that's an easy fix. If it is that they don't get enough sleep or so I don't really know what grade you're talking about, so I need to know a little bit more, but I hope that I gave you some generic answers that you could at least go to the source and not assume that this child is bad. Don't assume that they have a problem. It's something in their environment and it's something that's lacking. Oh, of course. I'm happy to also open it up with the mic. I'd love to talk to you guys, but if you just want to hear me speak, that's fine. I'm happy to be here for you. Um, so, Joelle, did you want to add anything else?
No, I think that's fine. And what I can add on is that the idea is to support the student, not to judge the student, because that is the main purpose of having a conversation like this one. And if we create that kind of environment or that this kind of situation with the student, that in the future he or she can see us as a you know as a person to talk if something happens in a different situation, how to approach that, right? Because sometimes there are situations in any environment that say, I don't know how to approach this person because he or she has this kind of personality, right? Sometimes colleagues, and if we create that kind of bridge to the students that we talk, or we create this positive environment to discuss, not to judge you, but to support you.
Yeah, the other thing I wanted, very good, Joel, thank you. I wanted to add for Rosa Elena that the student try to also give that student some positive feedback. Try to find out anything at all that he or she is doing well. For example, oh, I love the way you came on time today, or thank you for turning on the lights or closing the door, or whatever, anything to show that you're noticing them for good behavior. And that could just that positive attention can lead to some better behavior. You'll be surprised at the smallest little thing. Maybe all they hear all day long is yelling and screaming at home or fighting, and just a little nice word can make a big difference. And a smile and attention. Just the fact that you'll ask the student is there anything you can do to help them is going to make surprise them and have a positive reaction. You'll see. If the teacher can trust this teacher, yeah, Neelam, thank you for adding that. If the student can trust the teacher, he or she will not be defensive and will be more open to share and learn. Exactly, exactly. Thank you, Neelam. I think I want you to look at the aha from this aha moment, which is the next one. I think, Joel, there's one more. If there's anything I want you to take away from this today, and I'm not closing it yet, you're welcome to write in some more questions or comments. Walk away or take away these ahas is that feedback is a tool for growth. It is not criticism. And it's most effective when it's respectful, clear, and don't forget, ongoing, ongoing. And finally, embrace feedback as a two-way process, not just one way. We don't want to throw darts at someone. We want it to be back and forth, give and take, and give and take, and give and take. Two-way process. That's with any relationship. And timely, correct, Neelam, timely. This detail is so important. I remember when I had teachers give me my composition back like 2 months later, and I was mad. I really wanted the feedback, right? So we want to give it right away as soon as you could possibly can, because students need to know. All righty. Joelle, thank you for bringing that up. Did you want to make the announcements or some other
Oh,
information?
yes. Thank you, Sarah, for sharing. Please do not leave because we wanted to take a picture before leaving this session. Next webinar is June the 18th, same time, using formative assessment, same link as today. We're going to be sharing the flyer soon, and it's going to be at 5 p.m. Panama time. We are very happy that we have people from other countries. This is a series of webinars that we have, planned with the Regional English Language Office and the University of Panama English Department. So thank you so much for sharing, and see you. Don't forget, save the date, June the 18th, using formative assessment. So let's take a
So,
picture,
and
and
Joelle, there's a question about receiving the recording for this webinar.
you will see the recording on the University of Panama YouTube channel, the
And then
English
if you,
department.
okay, great. And if you missed the YouTube, you can take a picture of the YouTube SBI video. And Aldrich, thank you for making that comment about this model. It is a very professional and respectful way uh, to share feedback with colleagues and students. Let's see what else. Yes, you're all very welcome. This was my first time with you guys. It was my pleasure. I would love to meet again. Oh, look, now I see everyone. I would love to see your faces. Hi. Yes. Oh, there's Aldrich. Yeah, I know him from before. Yaranet. Very nice. Neelam, thank you. And Astrid. I hope everyone can turn their camera on. I understand if you have some technical issue, but we'd love to take a picture because I'll be writing about this in my, doing a report on it. I see that, yeah, Juan Carlos is there. Hi. Oh, is it Juan Carlos? No, that's not him. Someone that I thought was Juan Carlos. Did you take it, Joel, or are you waiting for others to come on to put on their camera?
I got it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, very good. So thank you all very much.